everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to let you know about my very ambitious November TBR. I don't know how many I'm going to get to, but I am going to be very optimistic about it. I do have other books that I am going to be reading in November that are not on this list because it is going to be a surprise for a video that is going to be coming out sometime in mid-November, might be the second week or so. I don't know when it'll go up, but definitely stick around for that because you might find that interesting. But the first book that's going to be on my TBR is one that I already had, but that is Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. So I never got to this in October. Only because I promised a friend that I would buddy read this with her, and she hasn't had time to really get into it. If you watched my 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo video, I know that it was super long, but I did buddy read that with my friend here locally, and she basically got upset with me because I just read on and left her in the dust on that. So now she's going to be telling me how many chapters I can read in a week. I'm hoping I can get to this. This is going to be further down on my TBR, so it's not going to be one of the first ones that I read. But definitely I'm hoping I get to it. If not, I'll just roll it over for December. She does have kids, so with the holidays coming up, it may even be January before I get to it. But I'm going to keep putting it on here until I get it read, because I definitely loved the Love Hypothesis. I'm hoping this one's going to be just as good. I've heard mixed reviews about it, but hopefully it's better than the first one, or at least just as good as the first one. So I'm definitely going to be reading that. And then the next book that I am going to be reading will be the very first book that I read, and it is an ARC copy that I got sent by the publisher, so it doesn't come out until February. But that is, I gotta figure out how to hold this thing, A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. So this is the prequel to Priory of the Orange Tree, which I loved that book so much, and I'm so happy that Bloomsbury, this is a very chunky book, that Bloomsbury sent me this ARC copy, definitely enough time in advance. It looks like it goes on sale in February, so this is going to be the first book that I read, because it's going to be my biggest and most ambitious read. It has, how many pages? About 860 pages, 870 pages. So this is definitely going to be quite a chunker, so I'm going to try to get that knocked out. But if you have read Priory of the Orange Tree, then you may be interested in this, so I can't wait to give you my thoughts on that. But one thing that I did want to point out is whenever I got this ARC copy, is it has these awesome, like, fold back edges, so it kind of mimics, sorry, I'm going to get my letter back in there that they sent me. It kind of mimics a hardback, but it's a paperback, so I actually really like that. I don't know if they make books like that in actual publication, or if this is just kind of a style for like an ARC copy. If anyone knows, let me know down below, because I'm really into that kind of style. It's pretty neat. First one that I've ever seen like that. So that's going to be my first read of November. Might be my only read. I don't know. The next book that I am going to read is, surprise, surprise, if you have seen any of my previous videos, then you already know that I can't wait to read this sequel, but it is called Embolden, and it is by Siri James and Ryan James. It is a mother and son who write this series. Now, I don't know if this is going to be the last book in the series, or if they are going to make any more. I haven't found any information, but this is the second book. The first one was called Forbidden, which my husband ended up picking out for me in one of my previous videos. I will try to link that in the cards, or at least put it in my description so you can go back and watch that video, because that was quite an experience whenever he picked out those 2 books for me. But I loved it so much. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did, but Forbidden follows a girl who has been bounced around from town to town because her mom is trying to keep her safe from something that Claire has no idea what it is. And so now that she is a junior, I believe, in Emerson Academy, she doesn't want to move and she fears that her mom's about to because they've been there for a couple years. Alec McKenzie shows up to their school on day one. He breaks her locker. Now they have to share a locker. And Claire is starting to go through some things. She's 16, and she's starting to go through some things, not necessarily coming into womanhood, but it did correspond with that. And so she doesn't know how to deal, so she leans on her friends. And then come to find out, there's a lot more to Claire than we actually knew. A lot more to Alec McKenzie. So their romance is wonderful. This plot is amazing. It's definitely YA paranormal romance. So you're not going to get a whole lot of like spicy scenes or anything like that, but it's definitely a cute romance. So if that sounds something that you would like, definitely go check out Forbidden, or at least check out the video so you can kind of see my thoughts on that. But this is the second book, and the one thing that I really loved is the first book came out in 2012. This one came out in 2018, I found out, and I really like that the dedication says, for the many, many readers who asked us to please continue Claire and Alec's story, this is for you. So what I'm going to assume is that they didn't plan on writing any more books after Forbidden. They maybe just wanted to make it a standalone. But I, apparently, as a lot of the readers also thought, was that the story wasn't wrapped up nearly at all. There was a lot of plot holes, a lot of things that didn't make sense, and of course Claire and Alec's story wasn't finished, so can't wait to dive into this. It's not very long. It's only about 320 pages, so I feel like this is going to be a quick read, and it's going to be something lighter than this big, chunky fantasy book. So can't wait to get to that. And then if I am able to continue, I do have an arc of The Liar's Crown, and this is by Abigail Owen. I love Abigail Owen. I read her like Rogue Dragon series. Wonderful series. That's how I discovered her. But I am also part of the Entangled Insiders Club, where I do get some PR boxes and some arcs. And this was sent to me in a PR box earlier this month. So you may have seen that on my Instagram or anything like that. But basically, this is about a girl who is now queen. Actually, let me just read to you what this is. Everything about my life is a lie. As a hidden twin princess born second, I have only one purpose: to sacrifice my life for my sister if death comes for her. I've been living under the guise of a poor, obscure girl of no standing, slipping into the palace and into the role of the true princess when danger is present. Now the queen is dead, and the ageless king Eidolon has sent my sister a gift, an eerily familiar gift, and a proposal to wed. I don't trust him, so I do what I was born to do and secretly take her place on the eve of the coronation. Which is why when a figure made of shadow kidnaps the new queen, he gets me by mistake. As I try to escape, all the lies start to unravel, and not just my lies. The shadow wrath who took me has secrets of his own. He struggles to contain the shadows he wields. Other faces, identities that threaten my very life. Winter is at the walls. Darkness is looming, and the only way to save my sister and our dominion is to kill King Eidolon and the Shadow Wrath who has stolen my heart. So pretty excited for this. I feel like it's going to be a pretty quick read. I didn't even know Abigail Owen was coming out with a new book, so shows how much I'm out of the loop. But I can't wait. I was so happy whenever I saw that Entangled sent me this and a few goodies that came with it. And so I'm very excited to get to this as well. Might be pushed to my December TBR. We're going to see about that. Now, the next two, I am going to be very surprised with myself if I actually make it this far. But like I said, I'm very ambitious. I love to read. I've had some of these books waiting to be read, and I honestly can't wait any longer. But I do have to get some arcs read beforehand. But the next book I'm going to read is Untainted by Lillian T. James. So this book is the Bookish Box edition, I believe, or the Fairy Loot edition. I can't even remember. It is Bookish Box. So this is the Bookish Box edition. And this is about a girl who is born, and I think the Fae live in the Fae realm, and the humans can be, I guess, like slaves to the Fae or whatever, but I guess like whenever she is going to be sacrificed, I'm hoping this is the right book. Whenever she's going to be sacrificed, she is whisked away, the veil falls, all of these things, and then we're on a journey. So I can't wait. That's about all that I know about it. I know that it's a Fae romance. I know that there's spicy scenes in here. I've heard some mixed reviews about this because some people say that it's good. Some say that it's not so good because all it is just sex. So I'm excited to see what that holds. But of course, I am a big sucker for Fae romances. So I can't wait to get to this. If you have read it, please don't spoil it for me, but let me know in the comments below what you rated it and, just your overall feelings as you did read it. So I can't wait to hopefully get to that by the end of the year. If I get to it this month, I'm going to shock myself. And then the last one is one that I just picked up on a whim whenever I was at Walmart this past weekend. And I saw the cover and I was like, ooh, that is a beautiful cover, but it doesn't look like my vibe. I normally don't read books like this, but I read the back of it. I went and saw some spoiler-free reviews on it. And of course, again, mixed reviews, which is honestly going to happen because not everyone likes the same thing. But overall, I heard that it was a good story. So it is called Funny You Should Ask, and it's by Alyssa Sussman. I've never read anything from this author, but look how cute that cover is. Absolutely stunning. I really, really love the color scheme and everything about this, but basically what I have gathered is that Chani Horowitz is a kind of like a journalist or, something like that, and so she goes to Hollywood, I believe, and interviews a movie star named Gabe Parker, because he is James Bond in a movie, I guess. And so she goes to interview him. I guess they have some sweet times, maybe spicy times, I'm not quite sure. And then she goes back to her life, and Gabe goes back to his. And then basically, I guess 10 years later, I don't know if it's he or her or both, but they can't get each other out of their heads, but she goes back to Los Angeles, I believe. And anyway, she ends up running back into Gabe Parker. And they had a whirlwind romance. She didn't think that it was going to last. I have heard that she thought that she wasn't his type or that, whatever. Anyway, it's kind of like a second chance romance. So I can't wait to dive into this. I was gonna wait until closer to Valentine's Day because I want to do a video where I read kind of these type of romances that are sweet or second chance romances, something that's not dark, more like light and fluffy, because I've noticed I have a trend going on. I have grown up reading fantasy and paranormal romance, fantasy romance, things like that. So I've read almost all types of stories, I mean, granted, there's a lot of unique stories out there, but they all kind of end the same. They all kind of have the same plot. So I already kind of know what's going on. And I've noticed that as I have been reading more and more over the past several years, that lately I am gravitating more towards those contemporary romances or the light and fluffy reads and things like that. Now, I still love my dark romances. I still love my fantasy romance and paranormal romance. I will always want to read those. But every once in a while, it's nice to kind of throw in there something that I'm not typically used to reading, maybe a light and fluffy book, like, Funny You Should Ask. This would be 5 years ago, I would have never even thought about picking this up. I would have just skimmed over it, been like, oh, that's cool, bye. But now I've noticed that I kind of like it. And, you know, every once in a while is pretty sweet. But, you know, I'm still going to love my dark fantasy romance. But if any of you have read any of these books on my list, I definitely want to know what your thoughts are. Am I prioritizing the books the right way? Like, should I wait to read A Day of Fallen Night because it's so big? I mean, I have technically until January to read it, or should I just kind of get it out of the way? Who wants to read any of these books with me? You can always leave me a comment below. Always find me on my Instagram or follow me on my Goodreads. All linked down below. But like I said, I may not get to all of these books. That is a very ambitious stack. Like if I was, let me see if I can get these without knocking you off. If I was to get all of these on here, this is a huge stack. That is a lot of pages. And of course, you know, Love on the Brain, I may not even get to because my friend may not even be able to read that. I don't know what her holiday plans are. But even if you take that out, this is still an ambitious stack. And it is mainly because of this A Day of Fallen Night. And that is a big chunky book. And I feel like if I didn't have that in here, I could get to all of these very easily. But I feel like this book is going to drag me down a bit in a good way. I love Priory of the Orange Tree, and I'm really happy to get a prequel to it, get more of the world. I can't wait to dive back into it because the characters were just so amazing, the story, the world around it, all of that. So I can't wait to get back into it. But anyway, guys, that is all that I have for you today. This was a surprise video. I don't ever upload on Sundays, but I wanted to let you know before November came. So if you wanted to read any of these books with me, you definitely can. I know that no one will be able to read this with me unless you got an ARC copy of it. But if you did, read with me because I would love to. If not, follow me on Instagram. Talk to me on there. I'll let you know when I'm moving on to the next book if you want to read it, or whichever book in my stack you are looking forward to reading, and we can go from there. But until next time, everyone, make sure that you like this video, make sure you subscribe, because like I said, I have quite a few more books that I am planning on reading in November. I have already, this is the 26th of October, so I have already started reading a little bit of those books for the video that I'm going to do. Because if I didn't, there's no way that I would have been able to read them. So I can't wait for you to see that. I can't wait for you to see more of my content because I really think you're going to enjoy it. So definitely like and subscribe. Keep following me. And until next time, guys, I hope you have a great day. See y'all next time. Bye.